Hello everybody, welcome back to ESPN's Football Forecast with myself, James Allcott, and I'm joined as ever by Nubaid, Haroon, and making his debut, Djellab, looking resplendent. Isn't he gorgeous? Let's get on to what we're gently working towards, the idea of being the biggest game of the season. I've been doing, in the international break, there's a lot of sort of letting the dust settle, figuring out who are contenders, who aren't contenders. And I think Liverpool, and actually a few teams, obviously with Man City generally being considered the favourites by some distance, Liverpool are now the sort of latest guys to sort of go and have a go at Man City. This has been a great game over the years. I mean, we'll do our previews at the end. There's so many different matchups to talk about. But are you excited by this game, as a Liverpool fan? I guess it's away from home and the record's not perfect.
I think as a Liverpool fan, you're sort of just desperate for this game in a way, because we're sort of going through the season where one week Liverpool win and blow Brentford away, and the next week draw against Luton, create loads of chances in one game, can't break down a low block. So we're still trying to figure out whether we are the real deal. While I think the rest of the Premier League is doing the same. I don't actually see a lot of people saying Liverpool are going to win the league or anything. So it's come at a nice time. The last thing you want is to get battered, obviously, but Chelsea drew 4-4, so you can get some encouragement from that. So I think Liverpool, as a fan, you go into this thinking it's a bit of a free hit for the first time, where we actually get to go at City and go, we lose, everyone sort of expects us to lose this time round, whereas in previous years that's not been the case.
Would you expect... It's a funny one with every team pretty much in the Premier League this year, is that everyone's kind of where they expect to be, and no one's really sure how good they are, if that makes sense. With Liverpool, how good do you think they are?
Liverpool going forward are, and statistically, maybe the best in the Premier League. They have so many options to go there. I think them and City are very much battling for that title. When Salah's in that squad, he's really the only guaranteed starter. I think Diaz as well, obviously, he's had a lot go on in his life over the past month or so. But when things have now thankfully gone back to normal, he might be the other one that you think is out and out, definitely going to start on that left wing. Then it could be Núñez, it could be Gakpo. There is obviously Jota as well, who is fantastic at finding the back of the net. And so I think going forward in an attacking sense, and then you look as well actually to Liverpool's midfield, and you look at Szoboszlai, who's incredible going forward. You look at McAllister, who adds so much as well to the attack. Trent, who when he bombs forward is brilliant. And so going forward, there is so much there. I think the questions are still in that defensive unit. I still think Liverpool need to go and get an out-and-out six, somebody that is obviously a lot better than Endo. And we've seen kind of McAllister do a job there, and do a pretty good job at that, but still it's not where you probably want to be playing him for this Liverpool side. Like when I think about this game, I think there's going to be a lot of goals. I really do. I think the attacks are just so fantastic and going to cause so many issues for both defences. And it might come down to the goalkeepers on the day. And to be fair, Liverpool have arguably the best goalkeeper in the world.
Yes, of course. Some big talking points in terms of both teams' sort of matchups. First of all, at Man City's defence, we're talking about Liverpool and how good they are from an attacking point of view. You know, the main man is Mohamed Salah. The main side is that right-hand side most of the time. Someone like Guardiola, who I don't think anyone disputes that he's a wonderful player. But is this a game where Pep, if he's going to make a move, it would be in that back line, it would be bring in someone like Nathan Ake for a game like this? What's the best way, first of all, of stopping Mohamed Salah and Liverpool for Man City?
Typically, City will play Ake at left back because he's a centre back, and typically against Salah, if you want to match up to him, you need to put someone in there who likes winning duels, essentially. I don't think Guardiola isn't that, but I think he's still adapting to the Premier League, where there's a few moments against Chelsea where he started to... I think Sterling made the underlap, and he followed the underlap in, leaving so much space behind him. If you do it against Liverpool, you're going to get punished, because Liverpool will hound you down that right-hand side. So I think the easy move for Pep is probably chuck Ake in there. But you'd probably agree here and say if he does that, that's quite telling that maybe he's going, ooh.
Well, so that was my next question was, in a game like this, so first of all, you've got, are Liverpool going to be more like Chelsea against Man City or more like Arsenal against Man City? That would be one thing that I'm wondering about. But also, the Guardiola question is an interesting one, because if he plays, you're going, well, no, we're better than you. And our team's better on the ball. And this guy's one of our guys when it comes to us being better on the ball than you. So I think the Guardiola thing is a massive point when it comes to Pep's mindset. He does like to tinker, but more from an aggressive point of view than a defensive one. So it would be very interesting to see him make that move. Same goes for Klopp as well, who generally wants to be on the front foot in terms of what he's doing. We've got to talk about Doku versus Trent, because especially straight after the Chelsea game, I thought Reece James was very impressive. He had some help from Cole Palmer. But actually, there were moments, I think, where Cole Palmer left him to it. And it was very interesting. If you look at their heat maps, Doku was always getting to that byline, but actually didn't create that much. If Doku's up against Trent here, this is one of the battles of the season. You've got the guy who's brilliant defensively, and people that are someone who is starting to play in midfield for England, and he's going to have to go back to play right back and deal with that. Do you expect him to be able to deal with that?
I think he's going to need a bit of help. I think that's the flat.
Does he have the help there anymore in this midfield three?
I think that's what you've got to ask of the midfield three. I think that's on Klopp to kind of tell his players to do. Obviously, you don't want to be dropping the likes of Szoboszlai, who's been so good in that position. But maybe it is one where you think about having to play Endo. Maybe it is one where you think about getting one of the centre backs to come over and help cover if needed.
Did you hear that? If you hear it, wind this back.
But it's that same.
Did you hear that?
But it is that same argument. Is if Klopp plays Endo, then that's an admission by Klopp by saying, okay, we're going to have to try and take this game a little bit more defensively for that threat.
Would you dare take? So Szoboszlai would be more likely to be on that right hand side. Would it be one where, if you think of playing, say, Darwin Núñez doing what Nicholas Jackson's done, kind of occupying centre backs, and then dealing with that little gap in between? Once you do sometimes play that little bit longer, which you could do with Trent, you could do with Alisson. If you play Szoboszlai as a bit of a 10, is there space there for a Gravenberch or a more of a defensive-minded midfielder to go and help with that side of it?
The thing about Szoboszlai is, and I hear it completely, that defensively, on the eye, you're probably going, he's not Henderson, because Liverpool are used to that. But his stats this season, I've just literally pulled them up here. His ball recoveries, he's on 92 ball recoveries, which is ahead of anyone in the league.
Wow.
The guys nearest to him
Anyone in the league?
Anyone in the league. At this point last season, Jordan Henderson was on 49.
That's
so he's
amazing.
nearly double. So I think because he's technically so good and so ferocious, the idea is that Szoboszlai is a wonderful footballer, and he is. But Klopp's got him doing Trent's work a lot of the time.
Right.
Now, I don't think he's going to drop into right back and do what Henderson did per se.
They've also controlled the ball a lot more, though.
Exactly. And so this is the kryptonite, because City will want the ball. But in a lot of ways, that's favoured Liverpool over the years, where you go, okay, you want the ball, you can keep the ball. We don't need to keep asking Konate to go wide and cover Trent. We'll actually just sit in this position that we're in. Liverpool also have a problem on the other side, because it's Tsimikas on that side, and it's not like City are struggling for wingers on that side either. So Liverpool have an issue in both full-back areas, but like Liverpool have done so far this season, that front 4-5 will score 70, 80 goals, and they'll just try and outscore teams. So
is that how this plays out? How do you see this playing out? Do you think, even in an away game at the Etihad, as strong as they are there, they're not going to be a little bit more conservative? You think they're going to go for it?
I mean, Liverpool were conservative at Anfield, if you remember last season, where it was 1-0, Liverpool were really out of form. They played in a deep block.
Joe Gomez played
unbelievably well that day, and they held their own. But that was at home. I don't think Liverpool are going to go like hell for leather away from home at City, but I think they'll definitely say, you have the ball, because you showed against Chelsea that you're a little bit susceptible on a counter-attack, and we have the most dangerous counter-attacking team in the league. But the worry is a lot of that counter-attack comes from give it to Trent, get Trent tucking inside, and you play. If he tucks inside, if we give the ball away, what's going on the left-hand side? There's a big issue there. So it'll be the first time we get to, I think we will get fully, quote-unquote, exposed for those that love the internet.
Which is everyone here, because that's why you're watching, right?
Yeah. Nice.
Saved you there, go on, yeah.
But it'll also probably be the first time we get to see how good is this attack against a side that will be very rigid.
Okay. Prediction time. What are we saying, Zach?
I think a lot of it comes down to whether John Stones is playing. I really do. For Man City, he's so integral now to how Pep wants his midfield to work, and I think you saw that against
Rodri looked
Chelsea.
a bit isolated, didn't he?
He really did.
He looked knackered by the end.
He really did.
For the first time, by the way.
Yeah.
He's never looked tired.
Yeah, very true. And obviously he didn't play for England, didn't travel, and so his last game I think was the Champions League against Young Boys. If he's playing, I think City do win. And to be honest, I'm going to go in the idea that he is playing, and I'll go with a Man City 3-2.
3-2.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of goals. It's going to be a lot of goals.
I'm going to go with a 2-1 victory for Man City. I'm going with head on this one. This could be chaos, though. I'll pass it to you.
Yeah.
What do you say?
100% will be chaos, I think. I was also thinking 3-2 to City. I don't see Liverpool winning because it's at the Etihad. Their run there is amazing. But Liverpool will go there with a different sort of plan to what anybody else has done. I'm going to go 3-2, but it could easily be 3-3.
To who? Who's getting the 3-2?
City get the 3-2.
Right. Guys, let us know who will win that battle between Doku and Trent if they both play, and what will be the score. Let us know in the comments below.